Welcome everybody to another episode of Founders Talks, where we talk to founders about how they got started and where they're going. Today we have a very special guest, Ion Craciun. His story is beyond inspirational. Started in the merchant services industry, not like everybody else, but actually assisting you in order to make more sales. I'll tell you a little bit more about Fee Navigator and how he got started. I'd like to introduce you guys to Ion Craciun. Mr. Craciun.
Thank you, Sebastian. Appreciate the opportunity to be here with you and your audience.
Absolutely.
I'm passionate about payments. I'm a guy with an accent, and I speak the payments accent.
Yeah, that's the only accent worth speaking.
It's a payments and business accent.
I agree. So, Ion, why don't you tell me, you have a very interesting story, actually, I would say beyond interesting, or inspirational would be the right word. Okay. And I feel that, as new payments professionals, including myself, come into the picture, I think it's important and paramount to understand who are some of the individuals, some of the business leaders who are currently leading the industry forward with new innovation, as in the case for, credit card statements was the easiest way for any agent to come and take the shop or the merchant from someone else. How did you get started? What gave you the idea? And honestly, tell us a little bit more about Fee Navigator.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I moved to the United States from Romania in 1998. And only a few years later, I opened my first business, a grocery store, and a year later, a coffee shop. In both cases, I had to get a merchant account to be able to get the cash flow going in the business. The first time, I didn't pay attention too much to payments. I remember signing up a merchant account through Concord, which now is part of First Data. And then a year later, when I opened a coffee shop, again, I had to get a merchant account. And lucky for me, and the reason I'm in payments today is the rep who came to sell me a merchant account for the coffee shop. Actually, it was reversed. Instead of him selling me a merchant account, I sold myself to him, and he introduced me to First Data. And a few months later, First Data gave me a job to sell merchant services. That was in 2005, March 31st, 2005, when I started selling merchant services for First Data.
It feels like it's a day that is forever engraved in your mind. Correct. Like many great titans in the industry started from the sales side, selling merchant services. So why don't you tell us a little bit more in terms of how did that experience from running your own grocery store to having a coffee shop helped you become not only a better salesman, but an individual who can foresee the problems that were occurring in the industry and try to provide a better solution?
Despite the fact that I have an accent and my English was not perfect, when I started selling merchant services, I tried to perceive myself as being in the shoes of the merchant because I was a merchant before. So I wouldn't go there to sell merchant services as other salespeople, polished and good speakers and slick. I wasn't slick, I was genuine and authentic.
I'd say you're pretty slick now, my friend.
To get here, but in the beginning, I was humble, I was authentic, genuine, and very enthusiastic about payments. And merchants, and many of those merchants who have an accent themselves, really connected with me really well. So the first step and the secrets of being successful in payment processing is developing that connection in seconds. In 60 seconds, you have to get that person's attention and get him to listen to you. That's the first step. The next step is to basically ask the right questions to find out the issues and the problems that you could provide a solution for, and you do that by asking the right questions. That's the step 2. In step 3, now is how Fee Navigator came into life. In step 3, you have to know math, know to crunch numbers, and know to explain the numbers you crunch. There are people who know to do just the math, but not explain the math. I was fortunate to know both, crunch the numbers and explain the math, after I connected with the merchant and uncover the problems and the issues that he's looking for a solution. Now, selling merchant services, not always it happens by crunching numbers or by saving money or by talking about numbers. But to present a solution that costs money, you have to position it in his existing budget. So the reason you need to crunch numbers on a merchant statement is to see what budget and what money he's spending today with the current provider, and what can you give him for the same amount of money that brings him value 10 times more than he had before. So it's not about savings, it's bringing 10 times more value for the same price. And then once you do that, you have that person for life working with you.
And that's very difficult to do, especially because, most salesmen are very difficult to listen as a salesman. You kind of want to talk and sell. And most of the time, I think the greatest salesmen out there actually do a lot more listening than they do speaking. And kind of want to shift gears here and explore a little further in terms of, mentioned you came from Romania, did a couple of different jobs before you landed into merchant services. Now, how did that, I would say, as any immigrant, myself, I'm included, probably saw a lot of adversity coming into a new country, new line of business. Would you say that adversity either helped or fueled you in order to create what Fee Navigator is today?
Okay, so that's an amazing question. You go out to battle assuming that you're not going to win. So you don't want to assume that you're going to win every client you see. Expect for them to say no, because you get a lot of no's until you get an yes. And expect for them to not like you, because again, for someone to do business with you, they have to like you. And this is the truth. Some people may not like you. Don't try to make them like you. If they don't like you, just move on. Find the people who like you. Because remember, no matter how much knowledge you have and how much experience, and no matter what product you solve or you bring and what problem you bring a solution for, if they don't like you as a person, they don't connect with you, they will not do business with you. So yes, I had situations where I remember still that day presenting merchant services to a board, in a boardroom, to the CEO, COO, CFO, like a big meeting. I was anxious and scared because I didn't feel that those people liked me. I didn't see a smile on their face when I was presenting payment processing with my bank partner. I broke the ice by asking the right questions. And one of the questions that I still remember today after 10 years was, who is your supplier? How do you buy your product and services? And lucky for me, the company, their main supplier who was providing the product they were reselling was one of my clients back in Pennsylvania. And when I mentioned that the very same company that provided them their product to sell was my client back in Philadelphia, which was a large multi-million-dollar business, I started to see a smile on their faces, and I knew I have them. Again, you cannot make everybody laugh, but if you see a face that doesn't smile, doesn't connect with you, then you know you don't have that. It doesn't matter what you give them. You can give it to them for free. It doesn't matter. They will not buy from you. You have to get that, like we had our connection, like we met a year ago, or no, a few months ago, and we had...
Feels like a year ago, huh?
Yeah, it feels like a year ago. It's like I know you forever. Like that's how it is. And again, you cannot get everybody.
So on that topic, let's explore, or let's go a little deeper in terms of, so you kind of mentioned, business is people doing business with people. It's, brands, we can glorify them however we want, but at the end of the day, there's people at the end of those brands. What do you do in situations that perhaps, a big client, for example, may be coming in and, the mutual like is not there, and it has to be simply a professional or business transaction? Do you feel that those, at the end of the day, how do I say this? Are those bad relationships to be in? Or do you think that at the end of the day, it's like, hey, we don't have to like each other right now, but after enough time working together, something can develop, and at the end of the day, hey, maybe there's a friendship even involved?
It's a good question. And in our business, we speak a lot about B2B transactions. The reality is, it doesn't exist B2B transactions. In Ion's opinion, it's an H-to-H business transaction, human-to-human business transaction. Now, for a human to connect and to develop a working relationship with another human, it has to be some type of attraction or likeness or something that connects those humans. The business connection happens first at the human level. Now, it may happen where it doesn't exist. And that's when I bring to you guys the next secret of being successful in payments, which is having a support system. Like, you cannot be successful without having a support system, having a mentor, having a team of people, having a manager, having a partner, having a support system who would back you up when you cannot get through to resolving someone's problem or to connect into a problem. So bring into the picture the people who can create that connection for you, which basically will transfer to you their ability to connect with that person that you couldn't, and you still do business. Now, I don't recommend it, but you can do that. Like, that's why it's always good. Like, I used to be a cop. I didn't mention this in the beginning. I used to be a financial forensic investigator. And in police work, you never go out to meet a person or to do anything without having a backup, a partner to be with you in the conversation. Someone who's witnessing the conversation that you have, which is ready to help you when you can't get through with a message, or the person doesn't listen to you, doesn't connect with you, whatever. So you need to have another person, a support system. Could be one person, could be a team of people. And that's why a business success happens when you have a team of people who put their minds together and are committed to make that happen. Like, success doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow process. You don't see success happening. You don't see the success happening in your eyes. It just slowly, things are improving in the right direction, and then you wake up one day, wow, my God, how did I get here? But there are small things you did over an extended period of time, which time you have to be persistent, consistent, and like my manager used to say when I started in payment processing, stick with it. If you don't stick with it, and if you stop listening from people who are negative, you would be successful.
Like, kind of like Einstein said, I'm not smarter than anyone else. I just stuck to problems longer than everybody else did.
That's me.
Absolutely.
And that's actually the story of Fee Navigator. It's nobody tried to solve this problem. So we stuck with it for 4 years now. And I think we are making a breakthrough in bringing to the industry technology that nobody ever dreamed is possible. So like doing magic.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember even doing some audits for agents before, and I would have to go through that 3 months of processing files, literally check out the rate very manually and actually come up with some type of rate that was some way cheaper than what they were currently providing. And on that same note, you mentioned that for 4 years you've been hammering at this problem that nobody really cared to solve, or nobody even put their minds to solving it. Why did you persevere through the problem? Why did you continue to look at the problem when, I'd imagine a lot of no's came along the way, probably when you got started. What kept you going?
So Fee Navigator started as Fee Notice. Well, I founded Fee Notice in the beginning, in the summer of 2017. And I started working on Fee Notice after 2 years of trying to sell merchant accounts as independent, as an ISO, and trying to build a team and trying to teach people with no experience merchant services. So I failed at teaching people in a short time the merchant services business. And that failure of teaching one-on-one people, it led me into thinking that technology could solve this problem. And I started thinking about this day and night, and my entire mind and focus was on that. So I started in 2017 as Fee Notice, and the initial idea of Fee Notice was to do statement analysis, lead generation, and better merchant retention tools, because anyone who can do these 3 things in payment processing, lead generation, statement analysis, and merchant retention, they will be successful. So I started working on this in the summer of 2017 by myself, with my own time and my own money. And a year and a half into that, I realized that I don't have enough resources to take this project to completion. And in the winter, or in February of 2019, Fee Notice became Fee Navigator. I brought on my team that support system we were talking about, minds and people with knowledge, experience, and financial resources to take this idea, this baby, to the next step. And for the past 2 years, under the new brand, Fee Navigator, we are able to release the first software who can do a merchant statement analysis in 10 seconds. So when not just the statement analysis, we calculate residuals, we generate custom proposals in 10 seconds, so all in the same time. So we are right now probably the first and the only company who would help ISOs, acquirers, banks, ISVs accelerate the go-to-market sales of merchant services using technology, and in our case, AI-powered technology, at a fraction of cost using humans. Humans will not be replaced, but humans will have the tools to be more successful and ramp up their sales and growth in a short time.
It's kind of like the greatest or the best, most successful leaders have a tendency to empower those within their team and those within they work with so they can also expand and grow quicker.
That's my LinkedIn message. I empower merchant services sales to be more successful in the merchant services.
I promise I didn't read your LinkedIn bio, I'll tell you that. But on that same note, you guys are clearly, you guys embraced AI. You guys decided, hey, why don't we apply AI to something that perhaps is overlooked, which is the merchant statements. But in the same sense, merchant statements are in fact the pillar of selling merchant services. So for the most part, anybody that comes to a merchant to offer them merchant services most likely tries to offer a better rate or a lower price, usually comparing those those fee statements. It's usually the way they get the sale. What is next then? You guys embrace AI, making, statement analysis 10 seconds. I mean, that changes the entire game. What is next for Fee Navigator, and for that matter, where do you see payments evolving, and how are you going to evolve with this new wave of payments that is coming into the space?
Good question. First of all, statement analysis is not necessarily to save money, to tell the merchant I'm saving you money, because nobody is going to switch to a new provider for saving money alone. Remember, it's a personal connection, it's the solution that you bring to the table, and then the money. Again, nobody can give you a solution for free. It has to be some exchange of value. I'll give you a service, you give me your dollars. And those dollars they're already paying already. And again, the main reason someone in payment processing needs to understand the fees and the profit on a statement is to know how much money is the deal and what solutions solutions you should provide for this merchant and what's their budget. Okay, so that's the starting point. Statement analysis was just the foundation of something big, because right now we have the unlimited lead funnel, which allows merchants themselves to interact with our technology on our client's website. They simply drag and drop a statement, and we instantly, magically, in 10 seconds, will give them any information our client, the ISO, want to show the merchant. Right now, we just show them like a summary, total volume, total fees, effective rate, and non-compliance fee, which are the most important numbers for a merchant. But in the near future, we'll automatically create a proposal on the fly without a human involvement. Now, also, we have plans to introduce the first AI virtual agent, which basically it's a robot that will appear magically on the desktop to the merchant, say, hey, I see you dropped a statement, I see you like your proposal, let me help you apply for a merchant account and get your merchant account approved by the end of the day or in an hour.
Right.
So
right. Which usually takes,
which takes a couple of days, a week. So we would like to help humans and help companies automate and accelerate their growth using AI-powered technology.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Especially, again, as the world moves forward and closer to, relying on technology to, again, there's only one Ion. We can, even if we wanted to make multiple of you, there isn't a possibility. So you guys clearly have embraced technology to make or facilitate a lot of the, relationship building for agents who are out there on the streets. And again, it makes me wonder, what about when, maybe there is no agents on the street tomorrow, and, any merchant can just simply download an app and take payments right then and there with a new processor. Where does, Fee Navigator, see itself being or evolving as the future of payments continues to evolve down the road?
So, like you said, you cannot make another Ion. We don't clone people yet. But you can get a robot or a virtual assistant powered by AI with Ion's knowledge, and we call it Ion. And that bot called Ion will do the work for you that Ion would do at a fraction of cost of paying Ion.
You seem like you're an expensive guy nowadays.
When you have 10, 15 years of experience and you prove yourself in the market, you are an expensive guy, because that's remember, a rich person is not the money a person has, it's the ability of that person to earn money. That's what makes a person rich. And again, as I mentioned to you in the beginning, I'm repeating it like many times, people's skills is what the magic starts, connecting with a person. The knowledge, knowing to ask the right questions, knowledge about crunching numbers, knowledge about technology, and then presenting this, like being able to explain in simple terms to the person you talk to. And again, we are not all the same. And the successful people are able to tune and become at the same level and train their mind to talk in the terms that are being understood by the prospect, by the client, not by a here or here. If you cannot speak the same level with the same accent, joking, you will not be able to connect and win any business. And I believe AI and technology and bots and virtual assistants will do that not to replace humans, but to help humans. Like, remember, I started this because I tried to train a team of 10 people one-on-one and I couldn't. Now I can hire, or I can sign up for 10 agents from Ion, from Fee Navigator. I call them Ion, SEBASTIAN, whatever name you want to call them, and they will be out there on the web signing merchant accounts for me, and I'm watching them. I still help them because they cannot do it by themselves. They still need a voice of Ion on the phone, face-to-face or virtual meeting with the merchant. We still need those.
I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, that human element is important for any relationship, business, or for any relationship for that matter. Ion, but wrapping it up, I'd love to, 15 years of experience. Obviously, you have been there, done that. What advice do you have for, young entrepreneurs, including myself, that decided to embark on this journey, and where we're gonna get a lot of no's along the way? What encouragement or what, words of wisdom would you leave us with for us to continue on this journey that at the end of the day, anybody can join, but not everyone makes it to the end of the line?
Actually, I'll give you a powerful word for people like you who want to be successful, for people like me who had no chance to be successful. The magic word is to believe. If you believe you can achieve, you'll achieve it.
Thank you. That's the best way to end this. Hey, Ion, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.